All right, so Ricardo, unfortunately, I did not get to see Air. I
Me
really wanted to
neither.
see
Sure.
Air.
Yeah. Right.
I could have gone outside and saw the Air, ha ha ha, but I didn't. I just didn't have the time. But yeah, man, I was really excited to see this. Not just because it's Ben Affleck, behind the director chair again, but this
Which
is
is always
story.
a good thing for me. I always like him when he's behind the chair. Sometimes his
Yeah.
on-screen roles are a little hit and miss, but anytime he goes behind the screen, in that chair, I'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever he's doing, I'm gonna go support.
Dude, Argo, The Town. I
Yes,
mean,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
great
Yeah.
yes.
He put
films,
movies
great
on.
films. Yeah, great films, right? So yeah, but the story is what really, really, really caught my interest, man. The beginnings of Air Jordan, though. Okay,
Right.
and but maybe you could answer this for me, right? Do we get to see Michael Jordan in this? Do we?
Not
But yeah, take it away.
really. Not
Not
really.
really.
They kind of they do what they do. Okay, they kind of show him as clearly somebody else, but we never actually see his face. It's just a guy, tall, bald guy showing up, and it's like, oh, okay, that's supposed to be Jordan, but he never actually
Well,
shows up on screen. They didn't get another actor or anything like that. It's just a
they do
guy.
a Shazam thing. They do a Shazam thing like in the first Shazam with Superman, just the suit.
Right. But they do the bullshit. They do the kind of the bullshit. Like remember that dumb bit from Austin Powers where, well, you're about to see his face and then like something coming the way. That nonsense.
Oh God,
Yeah, that crap. They do that.
Wow. Okay.
that is so
Here's the thing
Austin
with this.
Powers, though.
So yeah, this is a clear like Michael Jordan vehicle in the sense that, oh well, look how much of a legend Michael Jordan is, and Michael Jordan showing up his legacy because LeBron James just passed the all-time scoring record, and that kind of thing, right? So um
I mean, the Last Dance wasn't enough, I
wasn't
mean,
enough, right? You would think, right? You would think. But I thought this movie was pretty damn awesome. It
nice.
falls in a similar spirit to something like Moneyball or other stuff like behind the scenes movies that it's like, okay, this is the thing that behind the thing, and you make it work for what it is, and you get this interesting behind the scenes business sense of what's going on, and that in itself has a whole conceit and drama by itself. And it's something similar to Winning Time, the Lakers. It also have that conceited, and it's everybody and the movers and shakers and the drama behind that, and then they make it work in terms of the conceit because, like, all right, well, what has happened when you start betting on people before they become big? Well, that weird gamble that he make, and Michael Jordan himself was not really. He was not blowing up, but he was pretty hot, but he wasn't like as big as Magic or anything like that. He now starting. So why does he want to bet on this guy at all? And he had this, effectively the workable business acumen of the parents. But what they do is they make a conceit of, well, they reference on the parents and they're kind of forward thinking on the matter, especially the mom. And well, they get a big star for the mom, Viola Davis. And for our
Of
understanding,
course.
you see this news story about Michael Jordan wanted Viola Davis himself, and so on, so on, so forth. Like, yeah,
Okay,
okay,
okay. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Wow.
right. Well,
They had a
apparently,
round table, an EW round table, and they were talking, and that was one of the stipulations that he had. Because I think Ben had
right.
actually gone and asked him, "Who do you want to play?" And he specifically said, and that turned into a whole thing.
Right. And Michael Jordan just clearly, have clearly his fingers in the pie with this kind of stuff, right? But Ben Affleck come through. You have there's a great cast of people come together. Chris Tucker is great in this. Oh gosh, Matt Damon is great in this. Who else? Well, Ben Affleck himself. We playing again Phil Knight, I think. Not Phil Knight. I forget who played.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
Yeah,
He plays. He plays Phil Knight. Phil
right,
Knight.
yeah, it's Phil Knight, right, yeah, and then they had all these like great little side people that come into it, and I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but it's just a great behind the scenes vehicle, for the working conceit, and they just make it generally entertaining. Again, if you enjoyed Moneyball or if you enjoyed stuff like Winning Time and all these other shows where it's the business behind the business, it really really works. And yeah, the main conceit is just them basically the formation of the first shoe and the legacy of uh the Jordan, right? The idea of the Jordan, right? Why it is as popular as it is. The original Jordan is such a classic, for what in terms of the look. But they had a bunch of great things in this. As I say, Jason Bateman, I don't remember, he was in this and he was pretty good. Yeah, I watched the movie quite last week, right? But yeah, it's just a great conceit for what it is. It's excellent. Just a general payoff in terms of who who the movers and shakers and just getting that drama and who putting everything on the line. Yeah, but the main thing is the cast. The cast is great. Jay Moore is good in this. Marlon Wayans was in this. I forget. Al Madrigal was in this. I forget he was in this. That was pretty good. Who else, boy? I want to say. All right, Viola Davis herself, of course. Oh, right, Chris Messina. He was pretty funny in this and well done. And they just put it together. I recommend this. It's a shame that it come out and it was so short in such a short period of time, but I recommend it for what it is. It is really charming and funny. They make it work, and there's nothing too much to say about it other than just going and see it. It's a lot of fun, right? It probably would make me. I don't know.
That's what I was expecting from the trailer alone. I want to call it a feel good movie. It's like that.
Kind of, yeah, kind of. But there's a binding cynicism to the whole thing. To be fair, right? But in the sense of, they had to get this work, but you enjoy it after the fact. Like, it's like, they're going to succeed. We know the history of this. But they do some nice contextual stuff involving the parents and the dad, especially. They actually reference Jordan dad's murder. They're like, okay, wow. that was shocking, like, why they reference.
Wow,
but
they went there.
Yeah, they went there, but they reference, like, the portent of the future now. Like him saying things and you referencing Jordan's life and you had to know about Jordan's life. And yeah, this is kind of like what Jordan doing, like what Dr. Dre do for Straight Outta Compton, but for Jordan. Like, it's just that history conceit of it. Like, think about it like that. That's how you should work. But yeah, it works. I thoroughly enjoyed it for the most part. Rating, like an 8 out of 10. Halfway more like a 7, halfway. But closer to the 8 than the 7. Like 7.5-ish kind of thing. Not great, not a masterpiece or anything like that. Just a solid outing and a solid exercise for Ben Affleck as director overall. And especially him coming out of the DC, he was like, this is one of the first projects he's starting to do properly. And he really in his wheelhouse for this, right? That's how I feel about that. Nothing too much to talk about.
All right, nice.
I'm actually glad to hear you say that because I haven't actually seen it as yet. I mean, I saw people going to the cinema. This is hilarious. I saw people going to the cinema dressed in their Jordans, like, I mean, the vests and the shoes and everything like that. I was like, I really want to go see it. But also on a side, I'm glad that this movie worked because this year, for whatever reason, this year has a lot of behind the business movies that is just, it's Tetris, it's Air.
Right.
There's a movie on BlackBerry. I mean, that's coming out, I think it's in May or something like that. And I'm like, I want this. I want all of them to be good. So hearing that Air was, worth a watch, I'm gonna.
And it's such a strange. I don't know if this is some late stage capitalism going on, but it's so weird to watch these people like tell their own story about how they make money and to make money on that weird, whatever. But it works in the conceit. Michael Jordan is big enough as a figure to justify more than justify this, right? More than justify. And they make it work for what it is. I can't be mad at any of it. That's how it works, right?
All right. So let's talk about some TV stuff, or I should say, y'all talk about some TV stuff a bit. TV. Yeah, better than going in the movie theater. TV, bitch.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I still like my dark room 2 hours or 3 hours according to Scorsese.
Same here. But there are people who prefer to see them and watch a little TV and things. That's cool. But anyway, right? So Ricardo, you will talk about season 2 of Abbott Elementary. Unfortunately, I did not get around to watching this. I did see Quinta Brunson on SNL though. The episode's cool.
She did really good.
Right.
She did.
Yeah, the episode's cool, right? I mean, Ricardo, take it away. Season 2, Abbott.
So this was a pretty good finale. What this season does quite well is that they get into something that, again, Philly's having a moment. Not only is Philly's court and law system is kind of in a mess, but its education system is nightmarish, to say the least, right? They get into charter schools this season. They get into private schools, the relationship with the public system, why this public system should work and not. As I said, this show is more comparable to Scrubs than The Office, I would argue, because it's more into the conceit of, the public system actually works if you give it a goddamn chance. And, it's a kind of, workably, kind of subtly protest show. But it's a genuinely funny and charming show in its own right. That's going to mostly good to talk about this finale and why it just culminates in all of that, So Janine and my boy, everybody, it's Chris. The two of them come together. Gregory, right. Yeah, the two of them, finally trying to do the thing and Janine, which she back and forth, and she selfishness, she claimed her selfishness, but not really that, it's her having to kind of come to terms with, herself, and how she never really had a life on her own, dealing with the ex-boyfriend who left to go to New York, I think if I remember correctly, in season 1. They make a whole thing about, just the surrounding about that. But then the final episode does this great conceit about going to the Franklin Institute, which is this big science fair thing, and they do a great episode with this with the children having this sleepover. So it's like a sleepover in the science in the Franklin Institute, and then the principal, now being an ass like she is, try to scare up the children with respect to aliens and saying how aliens is actually more likely real. And but the way she frame it, like, she's this weirdo conspiracy theorist type, and to get into all these ideas of the thing. And then the other teacher, Barbara, she was like, yeah, no, just like chill out on that, that could cause problems later, because it's still impressionable children. And that's exactly what happened. There's something a really funny bit involved with Barbara and that. And they make it work in terms of the just a final episode of the show. The show really works as social commentary. That's the main thing about the show, in my humble opinion. Again, much like what Scrubs was for the medical scenario in the United States, is complete nightmare of a healthcare system. This one gets into the nightmare of the education system for this season in particular. They don't really do that much in season 1, but I thought for season 2 they really got into that charter school problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did a great job with that in terms of like what especially Philadelphia, because Philadelphia did a whole thing about charter schools, and I remember like how charter schools know better than the public school system, and the only reason public schools failing is because they're not getting any money from the government, and there's a whole weirdo politics. It's a political football, right? About money and who should get what, and class and race and blah 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 blah. And they do a good job with selling this conceit, and then they finally. It wasn't too much of a big deal, but I thought they handled it reasonably well. Gillian and Gregory's relationship and how that working and that back and forth. And where they end off, I thought was good, and it made a mature sense. Like from a character standpoint, it made enough sense. And I'm kind of glad they're doing it, even though it feeling like they're stretching it out a little bit. So that's all. Yeah, go ahead, Ram.
No, I was going to say Twitter, the night of and the day after, because I live on Twitter now. Is I mean
they move onto the sinking ship.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I've been watching, like I've been on Facebook. I go on Facebook to make memes, but I've been living on Twitter, so I see all. See all. Oh my god! But yes, so the night of and the day after. In fact, to be honest with you, even to now, people have been relatively divided. It's like, I mean, because the whole. Where it ended, it's kind of given people this was a really good episode, but also in terms of the relationship. I mean, come on, man, are you all really going to be doing this?
All right.
But and I like that. I feel like that might be stretching it a little bit, but I feel like there might be something that we lost in the whole binge culture of like the 10 episode type shows or the 50 episode shows where everybody falls in love with everybody immediately, and good luck with that, as opposed to stretching it out. This is how it plays. Yes, you want to be friends, you want to maintain a certain vibe, you need space to be able to breathe, and for a show like this to come and give you 22 episodes and still be breathable and give you something that you can look forward to in season 3, chef's kiss with that.
I completely agree with you, Tracy, because this is one of the things that's bothered the hell out of me. The show we're going to talk about made that error with 2 characters. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
But,
oh boy.
Yeah, I'll admit they dialed it back a little too much, but it's still workable, right? But this is exactly, to me, I have a big problem with just having characters fall in love almost immediately, or like, wait, when will they talk to each other with all of this? No. Let it breed, let it build, it'll take time.
In real life.
In real life, and especially with the conceit of the nature of teachers, because there could be a whole PR, where's called that by not PR.
Of interest. What's it good?
No. Well, yeah, conflict of interest, but it's when human resources, right?
Right.
Human resources, HR nightmare. Yeah, they could have and there's a whole thing to it, so they have it build over time, and that makes sense to me. But look, people want instant gratification. They love that bullshit, So I agree with you, Tracy, that to me, it's a lot more appropriate and makes more sense. But whatever. That's about it. That's how I feel about it. I'm rating for the season. I didn't love it as much as season 1, but mostly because season 1 was just such a surprise hit. This one was like, okay, they're into the emotions and they're making it work. Right. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah. Rating. About 8 out of 10, right? In my humble opinion. It still works. It's still funny. It still flows. There's a great bit with the janitor in this episode in the final episode that I loved with the
Mr. God, what's his name? I can't remember right now.
yeah,
Mr.
he
somebody.
yeah, it's a great bit with him and going to work for Gregory's dad. I love it. That was a funny bit when they think about it. And then the older white character, she had so many great lines with
Melissa
yeah,
Shimon.
Melissa. She had about a great lines with the volunteer girl and so like in terms of money. And she's like, yeah, you definitely not from Philly because it's about that's a big like interesting cultural thing because United States have this kind of I don't know what to call it, but I call it the carpet bargain problem, where a bunch of people know how to move from point A to point B and they have no relation to a thing, and yet they're somehow influencing the localized culture for that thing. United
Right.
States is riddled with that nonsense, and they make
Right.
that work. It's not just politicians, but on smaller levels now. And there's one of these moments it totally works now in terms of knowledge and information and the history of something and the warping of history of something.
Yeah.
All these little things, is little social commentary about that, and it works. And her character is perfect for that. And they make it work for what it is. I really love and I really appreciate all these little small things for the show. But that's about it. Nothing else to talk about. Maybe we got to go through the whole season, But I'm glad that this is where it is. Like it's still a solid show. It deserved it. Emmys totally. Right. Moving on.
I will say this. One of the things that I'm glad for with season 2, sometimes when you get a really good show that you like and they start expanding the universe, like a Flash, for example, you start expanding the universe, it starts to lose certain things. So like in season 2, we're getting to see Janine's mom, which
that episode I loved, I thought that was a
Listen,
great episode. Yeah.
from the time we got to see her sister and we got to see that relationship, and then you get to see the mother and you get to see that relationship, and then getting to dive into all the characters a little bit more and what makes them who they are. That could have potentially gone to all right, this is no longer about Abbott Elementary, but it is about the others.
Right.
But it didn't do that. It didn't do that at all. It stayed focused on its mission. In the writing, it was still very crisp. As far as I'm concerned, it was still very crisp, and it was still something that you want to continue being a part of. So kudos to Quinta and her entire team. I find all of them should get Emmys. I love like the little lines that Jacob gets, like in the finale when he talks about, he's he's a wolf in the inside, or he roars or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It's like, Jacob, please. But I like it. I'm gonna agree with Master Medina and also give it an 8 out of 10 for the entire season.
Yeah.